I don't know about you, but sometimes it takes me a while to really feel things. I'll go through something big, happy, hard, or just awkward, and seem totally fine. I'll smile, say the right things, keep it moving. But the actual emotions, they show up like days or weeks, sometimes even months later. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. In this video, I want to share what I've learned about emotional timing, why some of us feel things on a delay, and how I've been learning to make peace with that rhythm instead of fighting it. Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mari, and this is a place where we figure things out and grow and find some community along the way. If that sounds like your jam, then I hope you stick around for the rest of the journey. Now, let's get back to it. I've been thinking a lot about emotional timing and how we expect ourselves to process things in real time. And for me, reaction is sort of autopilot. I think of myself as pretty good with running human programming. Like, I'm polite and filtered and generally positive. I function, you know what I mean? I show up, I do the thing. But it's only later, usually in a quiet moment when no one's watching, that the wave actually hits. And I've started to wonder, is this just me, or is there something more? Let me tell you how I started thinking about this in the first place. I remember being on a plane once, and the turbulence was so bad. You know, the kind where your stomach just drops and the plane suddenly drops, everyone's gripping their seats? That kind of bad. But cut to me, I was playing Sudoku like my life depended on it. I mean, I was so focused on that thing, I didn't look up. I didn't look out the window. I didn't focus on people. I just stared at my screen like if I could just pretend hard enough that it wasn't happening, then it somehow would just stop being real. Which is not reality, because I specifically remember my heart like pounding. The type where it's like you can feel your heartbeat in your throat. Inside, I was falling apart, but on the outside, I was zen. And to this day, I don't know who I was pretending for. You know what I mean? Like, everyone else was freaking out. How come I couldn't let myself, you know? In talking about this now, I can comfortably and openly admit that, yeah, I was dissociating. I'd become so good at masking and performing that I'm okay that I'd sort of freak myself out. I'd learned somewhere along the way that not panicking made me more useful or safer somehow. And the most wild part is that I didn't even think about how afraid I was until like years later. And that is the pattern I'm starting to notice, that my emotions need to cook to well done before I start to figure anything out. And it's not just during big scary things, it's everyday stuff. Like, I shouldn't have a freeze response when a text comes in asking if I want to go to a party on a Friday night, because I know the answer. It's always going to be no. It's like my brain goes into crisis mode or something, trying to write a freaking resignation letter to the entire group chat for no reason at all. Not a single person is offended that I'm not going out on a Friday night. That freeze response is another version of delayed processing, and it comes up in different ways too. Sort of an embarrassing thing, but I was getting let go from a job, and this was a really, really important job to me, something that I really cared about. And instead of standing up for myself, I more or less just kind of took it. In the moment, I just couldn't figure out what was happening, and it was like my brain was buffering. It wasn't until days later where I felt like I was like, wait a minute, that was actually really disrespectful, and I think I deserve more. But, you know, by the time my brain sort of caught up to everything, I felt like the time already passed, and I don't know, just let it happen, I guess. But just because I didn't speak up in the moment doesn't mean I missed my chance to grow. Because what I've realized, and maybe this will resonate with you too, is that just because clarity comes late doesn't make it any less real, and it doesn't make it any less valid. Processing late is still processing. Growth at any rate is still growth. I've really come to appreciate that rhythm. It's not always loud or immediate, but it is thoughtful and honest and deep. So if you've ever wished you could go back and say something differently, or felt like you missed your chance to show up as your full self, hey, you're not alone. Those moments aren't failures, they're turning points. Little markers on a longer journey toward understanding ourselves. And just like cleaning up a space, bit by bit, piece by piece, we start to see what was always underneath. And the more we pay attention, without judgment and without pressure, the more we realize we're not broken. We're just becoming clear. I will say there is a happy ending to all of this, and I have found so much solace in figuring myself out. And it's lent itself a lot of lessons and truly a light at the end of the tunnel. I want to offer a few things that have actually helped me. First, I learned that delayed emotional processing is actually really common, especially in people who have had to stay on in high pressure settings. If you've ever felt like your body learned to perform being okay before you actually were, then you're absolutely not alone. It's not dysfunction, it's adaptation. Secondly, I started doing these time delay journal entries. It's literally just writing down how I feel about a situation long after the moment has already passed. And I know what you're thinking, what's the point if it's already happened? You can't really change the past. But it is really more so understanding how the delay happens and how you process it in its time. Because after 24 hours, you might be feeling okay and you might scribble down, I feel okay about this situation. 48 hours might pass and you're like, I'm starting to feel weird about this. 72 hours might pass and you're like, okay, I understand what happened. This is how I'm feeling. These are the thoughts that need to come out. When I do this, sometimes it's just a single sentence, and sometimes it is a full-on essay. But a question I keep coming back to is, what am I feeling right now about something that has already happened? And then I write. Third, I have started checking in with my body more. And I know it sounds a little woo-woo and like something you'd hear in a yoga class, but trust me, if you are someone who stays calm on the outside while freaking out on the inside, your body holds on to that feeling, and it is absolutely keeping the score. Which reminds me, here are a couple of resources that have helped me through this time. They're also linked in the description below. And these aren't magic solutions, but they have helped me close the gap between what I feel and when I feel it. And more than anything, it's helped me be less judgmental about my own emotional timing. Remember, you don't have to feel things on anyone else's timeline. You just have to start noticing when you feel things and then give yourself permission to figure it out when you're ready. I think some of us are just post-processor personalities. We don't feel the thing in the room, we feel it on the car ride home. But I am doing more these days to help me accept the rhythm of how I process things. I'm listening to my body, my reaction, my gut feeling, and making decisions based on that. I'm finding comfort with setting boundaries and saying no immediately. I'm standing up for myself on my own time, even if I feel like the moment has passed. Listen, I don't know where you are in your journey, but I hope you give yourself permission to figure things out when you're ready. Even if it feels late, even if it feels like the time has passed. Hey, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself.